أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله تعالى على حبيبه محمد وآله وسلم. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our segment on Surah Yusuf. Inshallah, today we will cover the ninth Ruku of Surah Yusuf, verses 69 to 79. May Allah grant us the ability to understand the meanings of the Quran by the grace of His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. With this dua, let's begin the ninth Ruku of Surah Yusuf. Verse 69. And when they entered upon Yusuf, he took to himself his brother. He said, Indeed, I am your brother, so do not despair over what they did. This Ruku continues from where the brothers returned to Prophet Yusuf salam with the youngest brother to get their full measure of payment from him. Prophet Yusuf salam took his brother aside to let him know who he was and not to be distressed over what their brothers did, because where he was standing today would not have happened if it wasn't for the will of Allah. This is a lesson for us also, to let bygones be bygones. Holding grudges against others and dwelling on the past holds us back from moving on and progressing. The obstacles that we face in life are there for us to overcome and learn from. The path towards Allah is not an easy one. There are many challenges that one has to face. But one thing to remember is that with any hardship comes ease. And Allah reminds us of this in Surah Ashar, verse 5 and verse 6, where it's repeated twice. It says, So indeed, with hardship is ease. Indeed, with hardship is ease. Let's go on to verse 70. So when he had furnished them with their supplies, he put the bowl into the bag of his brother, then called out to an announcer, O you, the caravan, indeed you are thieves. Prophet Yusuf salam gave the caravan of his brothers their full measure as he had promised, and they started to head back. As they were leaving, he put a bowl in the bag of his brother, who was brought to him. Just shortly after, an announcer called out to the caravan, accusing them of theft. Let's go on to verses 71 to 73. They said, turning towards them, What is it you are missing? They said, We are missing a measuring bowl of the king, and for who brings it is a load of camel, and I am for it responsible. They said, By Allah, certainly you know that we did not come to cause corruption in the earth, and we are not thieves. Their brothers turned around and asked what was missing. They were told that a cup belonging to the king was missing, and whoever found it and brought it back would get a handsome reward. The brothers defended their honor, saying that they were not there to cause trouble, nor were they thieves. Let's go on to verses 74 and 75. They said, Then what would be its recompense if you are rejectors? They said, Its recompense is that he in whose bag it is found, he will be its recompense. That is how we recompense the wrongdoers. The brothers were asked that what should the restitution be if they were rejecting the truth. In response, they said that the restitution would be to the person in whose bag it was found. That is the payback for the wrongdoers that they enforced where they are from. Let's go on to verse 76. So he began with their bags before the bag of his brother. Then he extracted it from the bag of his brother. That is how we did plan for Yusuf. He could not take his brother by the law of the king, except that Allah willed. We raise in degrees whom we will, but over every possessor of knowledge is the all-knowing. So the search began, first with the other brothers, and then lastly, the younger brother, in whose bag it was placed. This is how Allah supported Prophet Yusuf salam. According to the law of the king, there was no way for Prophet Yusuf salam to take his brother, so it was arranged for him according to Allah's plan. Although Prophet Yusuf salam was blessed with much knowledge, that knowledge was bestowed upon him by Allah. We are reminded in this verse that Allah bestows varying degrees of knowledge on individuals so their knowledge can be increased. But even then, they still only possess a fraction of the knowledge of Allah, because ultimately, Allah is the all-knowing. A stark reminder for us to always turn to Allah for guidance and help in all matters. This is also mentioned in Surah Al-Mujadilah in verse 11, where it says, Allah will raise those who have believed among you and those who were given knowledge by degrees. Let's go on to verses 77 and 78. They said, if he steals, then verily stole a brother of his from before. But Yusuf kept it within himself and did not reveal it to them. He said, you are worse in position, and Allah is most knowing of what you describe. They said, O Al-Aziz, indeed he has a father, an old man, so take one of us in his place. Indeed, we see you as a doer of good. The brothers, without any hesitation, claimed that they were not surprised that it turned out to be their younger brother, because he had a brother who did the same thing. Prophet Yusuf knew the reality, but stayed silent on the matter. Then he stated that they were in fact not in a greater position themselves, and only Allah has the real knowledge of what they say. The brothers remembered their promise to their father to bring back their younger brother to him. They asked if another brother could take the place of him, because their father was an old man, and that would be a favor for him. It is worth noting here that instead of apologizing on their brother's behalf or trying to defend him, they blamed him, nor did they ask for forgiveness. They only pleaded for him because they knew that it wouldn't go well with their father if he was not returned with them. This is a reflection of their own arrogance. Let's go on to verse 79. He said, the refuge of Allah that we take except who we found our possession with him. Indeed, we would then be wrongdoers. Prophet Yusuf responded in a dignified manner, stating that it would be wrong to take someone in their custody who was innocent of the crime, given the evidence of the accused one who was proved guilty. This is a stark lesson for us as well, that we should also seek refuge from Allah for committing such acts, falsely accusing someone for a crime that they did not commit. Otherwise, we would also be of the wrongdoers. This concludes Ruku 9 of Surah Yusuf. Let's briefly go over what we discussed. Prophet Yusuf wanted his brother by him, whom he loved and cared for deeply. So Allah executed his great plan to the displeasure of the other brothers and made that happen. Allah is the all-knowing, and all the knowledge of the universes belongs to him. He bestows knowledge on whom he wills and raises individuals in varying degrees of knowledge, yet it is only a fraction of the knowledge of Allah. We must stay firm in our faith, rely on Allah, and turn to him for guidance and help in all matters. In the end, Allah is the best of planners. May Allah grant us the ability to understand the Holy Quran and its true meanings in light of the life and guidance of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. Thank you for joining us for this segment. Until next time. Sadaqallahul Aliyul Azim. Allah speaks the truth, the exalted, the great. Sallallahu ta'ala ala habibihi Muhammadin wa alihi wa sallam.